The first is called Set the Pattern. It was a big Halloween parade and everyone was down in the street. There were men in drag and people with complicated mechanical costumes that performed certain operations and batons twirling and lots of people wearing masks. The protagonist of this story was waiting in front of the public library, looking for some people he knew. Their plans were tentative. He hugged himself to keep from being jostled. A DJ nearby mixed thumping music and people were writhing, firemen and Bedouins and movie stars. A giant candy bar danced with the Pope. A short silver dish and a tall silver spoon held gloved silver hands. It was the protagonist's first Halloween in this city. The people he knew were late. The crowd swayed, its currents surged and tugged. The thumping music tickled behind his eyeballs. He became aware of a conversation going on next to him. It was a boy and girl arguing. The girl said, "I don't know why you won't talk to me. I've been trying to talk to you all night, and you don't say a word." She was very pretty, even with her braces. She was dressed as Dorothy. Her boyfriend was much taller than she. He wore a black winter parka and a knit hat. He had faint maps of acne on his cheeks and a tattoo on his neck that said, "Cut." He was dressed as a gangbanger. His costume was very convincing. "Can't you just tell me what's wrong?" she said. "Can't you tell me what I did wrong?" She tugged on his arm and tried to make him look at her. "I'm trying to talk to you. I hate when you act this way." The boyfriend looked over her shoulder. He folded his arms. He said, "Walk away then." The girl gaped. "Please, Marco," she said. "I love you. I want to work it out. Why won't you tell me what I did wrong?" Marco shifted his weight and said, "Walk away if you don't like it." He scanned the crowd. The music was thumping faster. The girl was close to tears. "Marco," she pleaded. "Bitch, I said walk away," he said. That's when the protagonist stepped forward. "You should walk away," he said to the girl. "I know you don't know me, but please trust me. If you don't walk away now, you never will. You'll spend your whole life trying to please people who don't want to be pleased. You'll have no self left, and you'll cry yourself to sleep at night. Even when you do have someone, you'll never be sure that you really do, and it will eat away at you." "I'm telling the truth," he said, and gripped her elbow. He was the only one without a costume. "This moment is going to set the pattern for the rest of your life. Walk away now," he said. "Set the pattern." That's when Marco stepped up and hit the protagonist in the face. The protagonist went down, twirling like a figure skater and sinking into a confusion of legs. He vaguely heard the girl scream, "Marco!" but wasn't sure from which direction. The crowd was so thick he wasn't sure which legs belonged to whom. The music seemed to pulsate in the sidewalk, or maybe that was the side of his face where he'd been punched. The ground was littered with cigarette butts and empty bottles and pieces of paper and confetti, and he saw a tattered brassiere and 2 used condoms. He put his hand on something, and when he looked at it, it was a crumpled milk carton. In the blur, he thought it said, "Have you been me?" He got up in time to see Marco turning away. The girl in the Dorothy costume was crying, watching the knit cap bob across the current. She didn't even look at the protagonist. She lurched after Marco's receding jacket and sniffled. "Marco, wait," she said. "I'm coming." The protagonist reached for her shoulder, but she sneered at him and shook his hand away and started crying harder. A woman in a devil costume poked her pitchfork at him and said, "Leave her alone." 2 men carrying cardboard guitars jumped in front of him and scowled. "Wait," the girl said, and the protagonist shouted the same thing. "Wait," he said, as she moved into the crowd. "Come back," he said, and he jerked from side to side and cried, "There's more." So the second... thank you.